Okay, so what if I told you you might be using anti-Javi totally wrong, like completely wrong? What if there were hidden settings, specialized skills, and specific commands sitting right under your nose that most people don't even know exist? Things that actually transform Google's default AI agent from a basic assistant into a fully autonomous, relentless coding machine? Well, in this explainer, we are going deep on Google's anti-Javi to uncover the exact configurations that fix its biggest weaknesses.
Welcome to your Zero to Hero Master Guide. Today, we're going to walk step by step through fully optimizing your anti-gravity IDE. We're going to use a really specific stock of skills and prompts that, as the source material proves, will just completely change how you use this tool. By the end of this, you won't just be writing code a little faster. You're going to be delegating entire projects to an autonomous machine. It's a real game changer.
So, here's our roadmap for the day. First, we'll meet Anti-Gravity 2.0. Then, we'll install the Karpathy skill, add some front-end design skills, set up King mode, go over the goal command workflow, and finally, configure those integrated browser tools. Let's get to work.
All right, Section 1. Let's meet Anti-Gravity 2.0.
Let's quickly set the stage here so we know exactly what we're working with. Following that massive Google I/O 2026 event, Anti-Gravity went through a complete overhaul, and it now defaults to the blazing fast Gemini 3.5 Flash model. But right out of the gate, there's some major confusion we need to clear up about the versioning. You see, Anti-Gravity 2.0 launched as a brand new standalone desktop app, while the original Anti-Gravity was a VS Code-based editor. So here's the absolutely crucial point. For most developers checking this out, you actually want to stick to the VS Code IDE version. Why? Because it supports VS Code extensions. That means you get all the language servers, the extra tooling, and those amazing community-built add-ons that make the whole dev experience exponentially more powerful. If you already live inside VS Code, you're going to feel at home right away.
Now, we really got to talk about limits because the source material makes a critical point about the free tier. Back in early 2026, Google significantly dropped the daily agent requests on the free tier from 250 all the way down to just 20 per day. Yeah, big drop. While the free tier does still give you access to Gemini 3.5 Flash, honestly, 20 requests will vanish in a heartbeat if you're doing serious work. If you're just exploring, free is fine. But for building real, production-ready applications, the AI Pro plan gives you meaningfully higher limits and is absolutely the sweet spot for a master setup.
Moving on to Section 2, installing the Karpathy skill.
Time to actually fix this agent's brain with our first mandatory community upgrade. Adding the Karpathy skill is a pretty straightforward physical process, but you have to know exactly where to put it. First, just open the skills folder right within your anti-gravity setup. Next, you need to decide on your scope. You can place it in the global home directory under the Gemini folder if you want it everywhere, or you can drop it directly inside your specific workspace agent folder for project-level access. Finally, just move the Karpathy skill files right into that chosen directory. Simple as that.
But you know, what exactly did we just install? Let's define it. In this ecosystem, a skill is basically a specialized instruction set you hand over to an AI agent before it even starts working. When the agent reads the skill, it instantly understands how to approach its task, ensuring that it executes cleanly and efficiently. It effectively grounds the AI in reality before it writes a single line of code.
And this brilliantly illustrates why the Karpathy skill is so essential. It completely cures the Gemini 3.5 Flash wandering problem. Without this skill, the default model is kind of like an anxious tourist. It tends to overplan, hedge its bets, and ask needless clarifying questions when it really should just be building. But with the skill installed, it tightens up immediately. Suddenly, you can feed it a topic and just let it run, generating things like script outlines or complex content workflows in one clean, autonomous sweep.
Section 3. Adding front-end design skills. Okay, so the agent knows how to think now, right? But we got to teach it how to design. As fast and capable as Gemini 3.5 Flash is, its user interface generation straight out of the box can look, well, incredibly rough. We solve that rough UI problem using two specific files. First, the front-end design skill. This provides the agent with a strict design system, explicitly telling it what CSS variables to use and what layout patterns to follow. Next, you add the awesome design markdown file right alongside it. This injects deep context into the agent about what good, polished design actually looks like in practice. Together, these two files turn Gemini's mediocre front-end code into genuinely polished, professional UI code.
All right, Section 4, setting up King mode.
This next one is a total game changer. Let's move to a vital system-level configuration that fundamentally alters the agent's default behavior. King mode relies on a very specific, forceful system prompt that you add to your config. It simply tells the agent, stop thinking out loud and start building.
That's literally it. You are forcefully instructing the machine to stop talking in circles and just get to work.
And this directly addresses a major practical frustration. If you've ever just sat there watching an agent get stuck making these massive, multi-step plans and writing huge outlines instead of actually coding, yeah, you've experienced endless planning mode. King mode is the dead simple fix. It makes the agent structured, direct, and incredibly action-oriented. Which brings us to Section 5, the goal command workflow.
At this point, your agent's brain is fixed, its aesthetics are polished, and it's primed for action. Now we need to talk about execution. When you type /goal followed by your task description, everything changes. You aren't just asking for the next snippet of code anymore. You're commanding the agent to continuously plan, code, test, debug, and iterate until the entire task is 100% complete. It won't stop at a checkpoint. It won't ask for intermediate approval. The source material uses this great example of building an entire onboarding flow for a community like the AI Profit Boardroom, mapping out welcome messages, resource walkthroughs, and prep files all from a single prompt. It just runs until it's done.
But hey, quick heads up, there is a crucial catch to make this work perfectly. Do not forget to dive into your settings and enable Auto Proceed. When you're running massive, long-term tasks, you absolutely do not want the agent pausing every 3 minutes to ask if it should continue. Pairing the goal command with Auto Proceed ensures the agent truly runs autonomously while you step away from the keyboard and get your time back.
And finally, Section 6, configuring integrated browser tools.
We've reached the final piece of our ultimate setup, giving your newly optimized agent its own set of hands and eyes so it can test its own work out in the real world. Here is the exact process to get this running. First, open your anti-gravity settings menu. Then, find and enable the Browser Tools option. Next, and this part is super important, make sure you point the setting to your correct active browser profile so it actually has the right context. Finally, grant the application the necessary permissions to interact with your web apps. Taking a few minutes to walk through these steps unlocks an entirely new dimension of capability.
Why is this such a big deal? Because it's massive for web developers. You are granting the agent autonomous testing capabilities. It can now open specific web pages, visually check if the UI actually renders correctly based on those design skills we installed earlier, verify that form submissions work, take a screenshot of the final result, and then return to you with a comprehensive testing report. You no longer have to manually refresh your browser and click around. The agent does the testing, you just review the results. It's incredible.
Look at the contrast between where we started and where we are now. Without this setup, you're just an autocomplete user, manually hand-holding the code, fixing minor errors, and constantly guiding the AI step by step. But with the Karpathy skill, King mode, front-end guidelines, the goal command, and browser tools enabled, you become a project lead. You are now delegating complete end-to-end execution to a machine that can write, design, and test its own work autonomously.
You now have the exact blueprint to take your anti-gravity setup from zero to hero. The tools are installed, the limits are lifted, and your agent is finally ready to stop thinking out loud and start building. So the only question left for you is this: what will you build first with your new autonomous coding machine? Thank you for exploring this setup with me today, and I highly encourage you to go test these configurations in your own workspace right now. See you next time.